Namaskar, viewers. All of us have a liking for travel, and according to our Hindu culture, it is said that in your lifetime, at least once, you should do Char Dham Yatra. So, somewhere I think ancient time also it is significant pilgrim plus tourism. So we all of us love it, and there is one person who has explored it extensively, not only within Bharat but outside Bharat also, and her passion has been various subjects. Temple is one of her liking, and we are going to address it Bharatiya Mandir henceforth, because that's how it is identified. At least that's what the significance is. So I have a Miss Anuradha Goyal. She doesn't need an introduction. I know many people know her already. She's a very well-known blogger, a traveler, and brand ambassador for our Indian culture and heritage. She started an initiative called Indie Tents sometime back, and wherein she has covered many more information and data about our culture, about our nation. So today's topic is focused on Bharatiya Mandir, as I expressed in the beginning. Anuradha ji has visited almost many temples, not within Bharat itself, but outside Bharat as well. So all that and her journey and her liking and her findings is what we are going to talk to her today. So let me formally welcome to the great personality, well-known personality, Anuradha ji. So swagatam.
Dhanyavad. Thank you very much for inviting me for this beautiful conversation on a topic that we all love, Bharatiya Mandir.
Yes.
If you see it from my point of view, India can be defined as a map of temples.
Yes.
So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is all mine, Anuradha ji. I have been thinking about this topic for some time, and I wasn't very clear whom should I invite, because the idea was to address this topic not only from the archaeological point of view but from spiritual point of view as well. And then when I got to know about you, I was overwhelmed, very excited to have you on Diva program. So first come first. Just now I was watching TV and I read a news, rather I saw a news that somewhere in Tamil Nadu they have made a temple for Corona Devi, and they are worshipping it to pacify and betterment of the all the people and the entire humankind. So likewise, we have a temple in Himachal Pradesh in the name of Lord Yamraj. Uh,
Hmm.
so I know I'm starting at a very wrong note or maybe a very different note, but I want you to tell more about that and have you visited it?
No, the Yamaraj temple I have not visited, but I'm aware of it. But if you read my book called Unusual Temples of India,
Yes.
in that I have listed many such temples which are very unusual. They are either the deities are very unusual, or the practices are very unusual,
Mm-hmm.
or something associated with them is very, very unusual. We have to understand when we look at, Corona Devi.
Yeah.
And not just in Tamil Nadu, I believe I saw this morning a photograph also from UP where
Ah.
they have created a Corona Devi and people are worshipping that. You have to understand that if you see at a sthul sharir level, you won't understand these concepts. But
Yes.
when you go into the sukshma sharir level,
Yes.
you will understand most of these things as energies.
Mm.
And they are energies which are our own energies,
Mm.
which are not really coming from outside. So
Mm.
this whole concept that the God is outside, no, we just create the image of God outside as we see inside us.
Mm.
So, and you can create anybody can be your Devi Devata.
Mm.
So I always start with an example saying that we say our parents are our first devatas,
Yes.
our father, our mother. Now,
Absolutely.
whose father? My parents are my devatas. Your parents are your
Mm.
devatas. Why?
Mm.
Because they bring the light into your life,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Mm. Mm.
So similarly, your guru is your devata. My guru is my
Mm.
devata, right? And then we have devatas with whom we invoke when we need a certain type of energy. So today we need a certain type of energy in which we want to get rid of this disease.
Yes.
So we've created a devata, and this concept that devatas are fixed number and they cannot manifest in any. I mean, you need read any Devi text, any of the wards of Devi. She just manifests herself.
Yes.
I'm reading Lalita Khan right now, and when the Asur army puts snakes on Devi's army, she creates a Devi called Nakuleshwari. And she, to put Nakulas in charge of dealing with the snakes. So you have to take out, it's like, depending on the need, depending on what you need, you have to bring in that kind of energy out to deal with it. And that's how we create Devi Devata. So I'm not really surprised. In fact, I would have been surprised if we had not created Corona Devi.
True. I think ultimately Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina is our motto. And with this, if it is going to get achieved, why not?
Yeah. I mean, we have a tradition of Shitla Mata. Shitla Mata is our Mata for epidemics.
Yes. Yes. True. And I think you rightly said it, that the positivity and the divine intervention is required. And that is our belief, has been.
That also, and if you really read some texts, they say even in Devi Sapshati and in Durga Sapshati and in many other texts, you say that the goddess manifests as Mahamari.
Mahamari.
So even the disease is a form of goddess to probably take care of something bigger that we can't see.
Yes.
True. Or to teach us a lesson.
Yes.
Because we are not behaving ourselves.
Yes. Agree. Completely
so it's
agree.
not that disease is Asur and we are Devatas. No. That is also a manifestation of Devatas.
Devatas. Yes. True. Wonderful. We started with a very positive note. Now the real question here. How did the travel blog idea crop? Because you are coming from a technological background. And
yes.
How did this come into existence?
Okay, so I have been traveling since childhood, and since a very, very young age. My father worked in defense, so we lived in many places. And my grandmother, with whom I grew up, my dadi, she was very fond of travel. So she had, when I was a kid in the school, she had, and she must have been in her 60s. She went around on an all India tour then, and she came back and told me all the stories of, especially of South Indian temples and how people eat there. I have written about this in Lotus in the Stone in detail, but the impression it had on me was that, people are very different. They speak a language that we don't understand. They dress up differently. They eat different things, but we all pray to the same gods.
Yes.
Shiva is Shiva everywhere.
Yes, Vishnu is Vishnu everywhere.
Everybody understands Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes.
So I think the stories of my grandmother's traveling were the seed. Her curiosity was led to my curiosity. So a lot of credit of whatever I'm doing, whatever little I'm doing today goes to her, and the curiosity she kind of seeded in me. And then I've always been traveling, but in 2004, I was living in Bangalore actually then, and I started writing this blog. And blogging was an absolutely new tool then. We had no idea how it will shape up in the coming years, whether it will survive, not survive. It's just an experimental tool. And I just started writing whatever we used to have these weekend travels, and I used to read books. So I used to just put whatever came to my mind, I would put on the blog. And from there, it just grew and grew. It gave me a lot of things. I call it my sacred space, because it connected me to the whole lot of people who enriched my travels, who helped me discover new places, who helped me show their own places. So it's my sacred place today.
Definitely.
As of now.
Wonderful. And that has given a start to many good things and lot of collection of information on various aspects, which is very useful for people. It's a kind of a treasure which you can vouch for, you can rely on, and a verified data, if we say that.
Yes, it all comes from my, as they say, from my anubhav.
From
my
experience.
It all comes from my, and so at least I have the pratyaksh praman of whatever is written there.
That's why I said it is verified. Acha. Next thing, Anuradha ji, Um, on all our temples, invariably, if not all, but majority of that, we have seen Sapta Matrikas outside or in the carving. And
Right.
but I think nobody noticed it, or we'd never thought of thinking about it. Can
Hmm.
you please give little more information about it?
So Saptamatrikas are mentioned in Durga Sapshati, and it comes in a couple of other places or incidents also, where the goddess has manifested herself into seven different forms, or the energies of these seven gods: Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Kartikeyan, Indra. Seven of them come in the form with all their ayudhs in their hand to help the Devi for some war. And these matrikas come together always. Sometimes they are seven, sometimes they are eight,
Eight.
and
Okay.
sometimes they are ashtamatrikas
Ah.
also. In the panel, sometimes you see eight,
Hmm.
sometimes you see seven, but
Hmm.
mostly seven.
Mhm.
And they are accompanied by Ganesh and Bhairav sometime.
Hmm.
They are seen sometimes standing, sometimes sitting, sometimes
Oh,
dancing,
okay.
sometimes holding a baby
Okay.
in their hands.
Okay.
But they are usually carved on one single panel.
Ah,
Sorry.
no problem. Relax.
They can be found in temples across India, from north to south,
Hmm.
to east to west,
Hmm.
everywhere.
Hmm.
But only in Odisha,
Hmm.
I have seen huge temples dedicated only to Saptamatrikas.
Hmm.
So, in a place called Rajpur in Odisha,
Hmm.
which is a Devi Kshetra called Birja Kshetra,
Hmm.
who Adi Shankaracharya calls Girija
Hmm.
Kshetra,
Hmm.
there's a huge temple by the river Vaitarani,
Hmm.
just by the river. And I have seen these massive Saptamatrikas, massive.
Oh.
I mean, you stand there in that room. Unfortunately, the temple is destroyed, so they are literally standing in a room which barely fits them, and a pujari can barely enter. So they've made windows to, through which you see the murtis.
Okay.
But they are massive, they are powerful, they are overpowering. When you stand in front of them, you suddenly realize their power.
Wow. Hmm.
I have seen another temple in Puri, in Odisha.
Yes.
In Puri also, I saw another Saptamatrika temple. It was slightly smaller than the Jajpur one, but nonetheless, it had it. They had a temple of their own.
Hmm.
So they were not really a part of a larger temple, but a
Hmm.
temple of their own. So they are the manifestations of the female shaktis of our primary deities,
Yes.
which
Yes.
they have their vahans, they have their ayuds,
Yes.
and they come and they go. They come, they do their job, and they go.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think they give you energy and a positivity to fight your own battle and make you strong to survive or thrive, whatever you call it.
Yes, yes. In a way, they kind of tell you that which weapon or which tool
Hmm.
to use when.
Hmm.
Be aware of
Hmm.
all that you have within
Hmm.
you,
Hmm. Hmm.
and pull out what is needed whenever.
Whenever it is required. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Um, have you visited, or rather, how many Bharat Mata temples have you visited across our nation?
Okay, so I have the most beautiful one is in Kashi,
Hmm.
Bharat Mata Temple,
Yes.
where there is a map,
Yes.
and it's a map which has the whole landscape of India recreated on scale. I mean, what we see in Google Maps, if there is a certain height of a hill or a mountain, and a river, depth of a river or the coast, it has been made to scale. And it's the map that is worshipped there. So, which I think is incredible, and it's
Hmm.
not highlighted enough. Not many people visit it.
Yes.
And they don't realize, it's not easy to recreate. It's like the miniature version of the landscape of India.
Landscape of India.
So,
Yes.
yes. And the second temple is in Haridwar.
Mm-hmm.
Bharatmata temple, which is a 7-story temple. It's a simple temple. I mean, it's a tall temple and a huge temple and a very well visited temple. I mean, you have to get into a queue and then see the temple. And each floor is dedicated to something. Each one floor is dedicated to, let's say, saints of India. One floor is dedicated to, something else. The big acharyas. Some different floors have
Different
different.
teams. Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes. And you keep going in a spiral, you go up and then you come down,
Mm,
kind of thing. Beautifully designed.
mm,
But it's still a very simple temple. Uh, it's a it's a fairly simple temple.
right.
Then there is one temple in Aurangabad, Daulatabad.
Mm,
The
okay.
Daulatabad fort.
Mm,
Now, I don't have the whole history of it,
mm,
but it must have been some temple which
mhm.
was then converted into a mosque, and then it is reconverted into a Bharat Mata
Bharat
temple.
Mother Temple. Okay.
So these three temples are the primary temples I have seen. Then I have seen wall murals where
Mm,
Bharat Mata is depicted
mm,
in like Shekhawati
mm,
Havelis of
mm, mm,
Rajasthan
mm,
and
mm.
many other places where you have it on the wall mural. So these are some of the Bharat Mata
Right.
temples.
I have seen one in Pune, and which is in Jnana Prabodhini school, and it's
Okay.
again very well visited by people who know about it, and it is exactly
Uh,
what you are telling me. It is also a replica of Bharat map, and well presented, and people do sit there, meditate, worship, and
Next time I
they.
go to Delhi, I'm going to go there.
Yes, definitely. Fortunately, I have seen both these Haridwar and Kashi temples as well, and I think it is quite significant to have that divinity feeling about your nation and worship it accordingly. Makes sense.
See, a nation is one thing, and also the land. We've always treated
Yes,
land as our
yes,
mata
yes,
because she
Mata. Yeah,
nurtured us.
yes. We call it
So
Bhumata.
I would, yes. So even if you are living in US,
Yes,
then because that land is nurturing you, that land should be treated as your mother.
Mata. True. And we have a tradition of touching Bhumi the moment we get up. We definitely
Right.
express our gratitude and yeah, definitely. Um, let's discuss little bit other side of temples here. Um, I have been a fortunate person who has seen many temples within Bharat, not outside, but within Bharat. And yes, the sanctity is one part, the divine significance is one part. But somewhere we are not able to maintain it the way it should be maintained. We are not able to give the due importance to it, and also the divinity that is expected out of a devotee when they go to the temples or to mandir or to the worship places. They are not maintaining the sanctity required, purity required.
Mhm.
Is it not a worry point or a concern?
So I don't know if worry helps anything.
Ah,
We can do what we need to do and then hope for the best.
yes.
Uh, So I have done two videos, one with Ramakrishna Kongalaji,
Ah,
where we tried to bring out the very simple fact of what should you do when you visit a temple.
ah,
Very, very simple thing that you
ah,
should stand in front of a sanctum, you should
hmm,
sit in the mandap, you should, ring the bell.
hmm,
Uh, and stand below the bell which is ringing.
hmm,
You should take the prasad. You
hmm,
should do the parikrama.
hmm,
And when you do parikrama, you should look at those stories and remember what
hmm,
those stories are trying to tell us.
hmm,
And so these are the minimum things that you should do when you visit a temple. And I realized in response to that video, I realized that many people were looking for this information, but they did not have,
hmm,
you know because we've not been told uh, or taught, or we've not seen people.
hmm.
Lot of things we learn by seeing when we
Yes,
go there.
yes, yes,
So we
yes.
don't see it, so we don't learn it. So
True.
anyway, we are trying to do that. So that video, if your people, if you can watch, that should
Yes,
give you this thing.
definitely.
Second, I did a video with, I was fortunate to work with the Sthapatis who come from the lineage of the Sthapatis who built the Brihadeshwara and Tanjore. and I had the good fortune of working with them on another project. So uh, so I was asking them about temple restoration. They were restoring a temple in Sri Lanka, which where we spent time together, and that's when they told me in so much detail about temple restoration, how to restore temples and how to maintain temples. So I did a video with them also
Okay.
on how to maintain temples. Now there are four different types of mota mota, in a
Mm.
very broad way. There
Yeah.
are four types of temple maintenance. One is the regular temple. So let's say it's a working, regular, worshipping temple. Then you do a kumbhabhishekam every 12 years. So every 12 years, the temple deserves a regular maintenance. It could be small repairs, it could be small additions, it could be cleaning, it could be repainting, whatever. It's a
Yes.
part of regular maintenance. It also recharges the place. See, energy,
Absolutely.
and temples
Energizes.
are Shakti sthals.
Yes.
Temples
Yes.
are the places which give us Shakti.
True.
And once you if you keep giving, if you, it's like we need to rejuvenate, to recharge ourselves. Temples also need to be recharged so that they can continue to be the source of energy. So that's a regular maintenance for a regular temple, which is in practice. Then if you want to expand the temple, so let's say that it's right now a small temple and you want to expand the temple, then there is a process for that. A temple which has fallen out of use for whatever reason, temples can fall out of use
Yeah.
due to many reasons.
Business. Yes.
Then how do you restore it? A
Mm.
temple that has been desecrated
Mm.
deliberately
Mm.
or by natural
Mm.
forces
Mm.
in some form,
Mm.
basically there is an ashuddhi and a shach that has happened.
Mm.
How do you recharge and clean and redo it?
Shuddhikaran.
So there are these very clearly um, defined uh, types of maintenance for the
Mm.
temple.
Mm.
And also, let me tell you one thing.
Mm.
When you read scriptures and you read about, the definition of things which give you pap and punya,
Mm.
which by doing which. So
Yeah.
building a temple is obviously
Mm.
earning a punya, but you
Absolutely.
earn a much bigger punya by maintaining the existing temples.
Mm.
It goes for water bodies also. So
Mm.
why do we see so many water bodies,
Yeah.
ancient water bodies? Because
Mm.
it was considered a punya
Mm.
to create a water body, which
Mm.
will give drinking water to
Yeah.
people,
Thirsty people. Yeah.
future generation.
Yeah.
But everywhere it is said, if you get X amount of punya
Mm.
for either creating a mandir or creating a water body, you get 10x or 100x or 1000x if you maintain the existing ones.
Mm.
So we have all the reason in our generation, we have all the reason to maintain our temples
Absolutely.
and
And
our water bodies, of course.
true. Atharvaveda has a Shastra, Shilpa Shastra, wherein this temple creation and maintenance complete adhyaya is given. Um,
Right.
so, though temples, mandir, are our Shraddha Sthan, and we have a lot of faith in the place. We have a lot of wish list to submit to the Almighty. We also have the payback system if something is approved or granted, and at
Mhm.
the same time we also have a place to uh, as you said पुण्य पाप पुण्य का हिसाब देना जिसको बोलते हैं,
Right.
तो ये भी सब
Right.
उसमें होता है। अच्छा, मंदिरों
Right.
का एक और एक महत्व है, और जो आपने अभी एक 2 मिनट पहले आपने बताया दैट यू वर्कड विथ श्री रामकृष्ण कोनंगला जी हु टेल्स यू हाउ टू
Yes.
विजिट टेम्पल, which is really
Right.
nice. Mostly if I I'm a student, while going to college,
Mhm.
within 1 minute I want to do namaskar and go ahead and finish this one task tick. If I am a
Right.
working
Right.
person, once again I'm in hurry, I want to finish this task tick and I want to go ahead. But if I go
Right.
to pilgrimage, I already am
Mhm.
exhausted due to the queue and the journey, so I do not
Mhm.
have the the energy or the excitement left with me to see it in so much detail. But then he has given a very beautiful procedure. mandapa, sanctum sanctorium, archaeological details. So, how was the experience working with him?
We just did one video. So yeah, I mean, he and I keep exchanging notes on many temples, many things. He's very good with architecture of temples.
Yes.
He's documenting the architecture very, very beautifully, and he's a teacher by profession, so
Yes.
it helps. So we keep comparing notes, and wherever there is a point where we need to create something, we do something. So it's great working with him. Please do follow him wherever he's very
Correct.
active on social medias, and he's doing brilliant job.
Yes. Because when I read on your blog space about his work and you guys working together on this, that was really exciting. Because as I said,
We should all come together. We should, lot of us should come together and work together, because akele there is only so much we can do.
yes, definitely. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल संगठन में शक्ति है. So we
Ji.
should work together. It makes sense. Anuradha ji,
And also
uh,
highlight people who are doing good work.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, ये सेवन सिस्टर्स ऑफ गोवा और एक ऐसा एस्पेक्ट है जो नॉट मेनी पीपल हैव एक्सप्लोर्ड, आपने देखा है, सो प्लीज टेल लिटिल बिट अबाउट इट.
देखिए, गोवा के बारे में नॉट मेनी पीपल नो दैट इट्स अ लैंड ऑफ टेम्पल्स.
हाँ.
Not many people. I mean, believe me, I get so many mails saying that, oh, Goa has temples. But thankfully, I also get a lot of mails now saying that next time I'm coming to Goa, I'm keeping one day for temples, which is very, very heartening.
Right.
So Goa has two sets of temples. One are the Kuldevta temples of the God Saraswat community. They were basically the inhabitants, or whenever they must have migrated from the banks of Saraswati River, and a huge bunch of them landed in Goa, and they were primarily living in Goa till Portuguese came and pushed them out, or converted a lot of them.
Rather, yeah.
No? So their temples also moved. So each village had a temple. Each village had a temple at the center of the village.
Yeah.
But when Portuguese came and they occupied the core villages, these temples were, they have, each temple has a very, very very, very different story to tell, but they all moved hinterlands. They all moved hinterlands where there was a Hindu king ruling. So he gave them space, and he gave
Protection.
allowed them to have temples, and they all their social activities then confined to temples. So if there was marriages or anything, it happened in temples.
Okay.
So you see a lot of temples, a lot of those temples in a district called Ponda, which is slightly eastwards. And then these seven sisters is a very lesser known fact. Even in Goa, not many people know about them. So there are these seven Devi temples. It's a story that seven sisters and a brother came to Goa riding on an elephant. And you can still see a sculpture of an elephant on a hillock. If you've seen my post, you've seen that elephant picture.
Yes.
Okay, and each of these sisters, I mean, I'm not getting into the story. You can read that on in detail.
Definitely.
And but each of these sisters settled in a different village. In fact, one of them went into the Patal, and one of them converted to Christianity. So even the goddesses converted to Christianity. So Mirabai, her name was Mirabai, and she became Mirabilis.
Okay.
And even today, and in her converted form, she is offered oil, coconut oil. On the day her jatra used to be. And each of them, like every temple and every deity, they have their annual jatra on which some activity happens in those temples. So still people go and offer coconut oil to her, which I find very fascinating. And some of the songs, which used to take the names of the seven sisters, now take the name of the six sisters, because one has converted. So you see so much of a semblance of our own human experience in the deities' experiences as well.
True.
Yeah. So In
Yes.
fact, I had a very beautiful experience when I went exploring these temples. So I've been reading about it. And in fact, earlier this year, I went and visited all these temples. So
Hmm.
when I visited the temple of Khetoba,
Ah.
which is the brother,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
his temple is in a small village called Venguni.
Hmm.
And it was late evening. They were doing the evening aarti. So we stood and we saw the aarti. And the trustee of the temple, I don't know why, he walked up to me and he said, we have a aarti written for him. We want somebody to sing it. So I said, well, I can't sing, I can't do anything, but if you can give me, I'll try and see if I can do something. So he gave me a printout of that aarti and I came back home and I put it on Twitter. Can
Okay.
you imagine somebody who produces music for Bollywood films in
Ah.
Bombay
Ah.
sang that aarti?
Hmm.
It is a beautiful aarti, and we all were so happy. We sent it to the temple. I uploaded it on my YouTube channel, and the singers and composers. We didn't know, not a single penny was exchanged. Not a single person has met each other, and we created this aarti, and we just feel that the Ketoba chose us to
Yes.
do his aarti.
Absolutely. You are a nimitta matra or instrument to.
In
Yes.
fact, I wrote on my Facebook post, I wrote that, I understood the meaning of nimit,
Ah.
that when the deity has to choose you as a
Choose.
nimit, this is how it happens.
Absolutely. And also the Shirgaon Lahiri Devi Mandir is also one of the unique features. Am I right?
So, yeah, so one of the sisters is called Lairai.
Lahiri. Acha, acha. I see. Okay.
One of the
Out of the
sisters is
seven, one
called,
is a Lahiri. Okay.
one of them is Lairai, and
Okay.
she is in Shirgaon. Yeah, she's in the
Shir
village called Shirgaon.
Shirgaon. Okay.
Now, that village belongs to her, and
Hmm.
she is supposed to be the Trigunatmak Devi.
Hmm.
And there is no murti there. She is worshipped in the form of a kalash.
That's what I
So,
wanted to know. Yes.
the
Yes.
Garbhagriha, there is
Uh-huh.
only a kalash
Hmm.
which is worshipped.
Which is the
Okay,
speciality of that
some
temple.
artist has created a imaginary view of
Hmm.
her,
Hmm.
which is very similar to Raja Ravi Verma's style, but it
Okay.
was done way before Raja Ravi Verma. It's a 300, 400-year old painting.
Okay.
But that's an imagination. The Devi is worshipped in the form of a kalash.
Kalash. Okay.
Now, what has happened is that in this village,
Hmm.
they don't eat anything non-vegetarian. It's a completely vegetarian village, Shirgaon.
I see.
They don't kill any animal.
Animal.
No
Okay.
hinsa happens in
Hmm.
that village.
Hmm.
And in the good old days when people used to travel on horses,
Mhm.
they used to say nobody used to ride horses in that village. So if they reach that village, they'll get down, walk, and then get out of the village. And then, so it was for the reverence of the Devi.
Hmm.
And even today, in her annual jatra, they make a huge fire, and people walk on the fire barefoot.
All this I have read in your blog and also on other social medias, and I was really interested to know this, especially.
And imagine people don't even know that such a thing exists in Goa.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because my idea of talking about mandir today is not the typical aspects of mandir that everyone knows about it, but these things which people are not aware of, and also it has a very deep meaning to it and a lot of spiritual significance to it. Acha, Anuradha ji, you have seen, I think, many temples, and you have visited n number of places as well. Have you suggested any place to UNESCO as a heritage?
I'm not associated with anybody, so I'm in no capacity to suggest, or they have
Okay,
never asked me to suggest.
okay,
Yeah,
no, okay, but
that's
maybe in
one line answer
future,
to it.
is it
I am not associated with any organization of any kind.
right?
I'm
No,
I'm
doesn't matter
absolutely an
because
independent
you have
person.
a lot of data, lot of verified information, and lot of pointers. So maybe,
So if they come and ask me,
yeah,
which I mean, I do work with the tourism boards, and I do work with a lot of organizations.
correct.
So if they come and ask me, I'll be able to share. But I don't know anybody there to go and tell them.
Okay, I feel they should ask you, or rather, you should tell them one
You
of
need
the
to be
things.
you need to be living in Delhi for that. If you're not living in I work
Yes.
with all these
Yes,
organizations.
yes, yes. Got it. Got your point. Um, Another thing I wanted to know is a very unique temple which has a connection with Mahabharata, the Hidimba Mandir, um,
Yes.
and which is archaeologically very different than all our temples, whether north or south. And also, I don't know what is I have never seen it. So, how do they do the worship, arti, puja?
It's a typical Devi temple.
Okay.
She's supposed to be an incarnation of Durga,
Yes.
and she is in a pindi form. So there's
Ah,
a stone that is worshipped.
okay.
That's worshipped. You can see the animals sacrificed all around
Hmm.
on the walls of the temple. So architecture, yes, it looks different from north south
Hmm.
because it's an architecture called Kathkuni
Okay.
architecture, which is the typical architecture that you find in the hills. So all around Uttarakhand and Himachal, you will
Correct.
find this kind of an architecture
Oh,
where they have one layer of stone and one layer of wood. It is
oh.
basically to go with the current, the location,
Hmm.
how what is available and how what
Nature.
sustains.
Nature.
It's a,
Okay.
yeah, it's a very very typically Himachali Uttarakhandi or a hills architecture, and
Architecture. Okay.
it's called Kathkuni. Kathkuni means stone and wood
Okay.
architecture. So it's typically that architecture,
Okay.
and
And
beautiful wood carvings it has.
hmm, I see. I see.
If whenever you visit Manali, you must visit
Huh.
her.
Huh. Yeah. Let's see. When can I visit now? uh, Ramayana has a big role in our life, being Hindu, and it is a adhyatmic importance for us. So coincidentally, many other nations has a significance. Many other nations has existence of Rama Avatar. Uh,
Right.
what kind of a similarities do you see, and how enriching it is?
So see, I would say the Indian culture has gone to the world from India, riding the story of Ramayana.
Is it so?
So, as the story of Ramayana has traveled out of India, either as a story or in the form of music or in the form of performance or as a painting or in any art form,
Hmm.
it has traveled outside.
Hmm.
And then, whenever something travels outside, it also becomes a part of the place it travels
That
to.
yeah.
Right. So the story, because it is old, it is multi-layered,
Hmm.
it is a story of human values, so
Yeah.
it touches everybody, and so it has traveled to almost every country in the
Hmm.
world.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I don't know if you are aware, there is a project by the UP government culture ministry called Global Encyclopedia of Ramayana, where they are trying to document every possible form of Ramayana that exists in any corner of the world.
World. Okay.
I am very fortunate that I'm a part of that project,
Wonderful.
and as part of that project, only I have published Ayodhya Mahatme, a
Hmm.
translation from the Skanda Purana. So, so there is an effort, and hopefully, once the corona breaks are off, we should be working on it. And there is a huge team of scholars from around the world which is working on collecting this information, and it's wonderful. Actually, if you go to Ayodhya, they organize a Ramayana. I don't know about the due to pandemic, they may
Hmm.
have stopped, but otherwise. Uh, they have a Ramayana troupe from somewhere around the world performing every day.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
I have seen Ramayana performance in Indonesia,
Yes.
which is beautiful, which is simply beautiful. I have seen a part of it in a little bit in Thailand, but
Hmm.
not as much.
Hmm.
Right, but you can see that, when you see the Royal Palace of Bangkok,
Hmm. Hmm.
you
Hmm.
see the whole of Ramayana written on it.
Hmm.
Whole of Ramayana is out there. In fact, their palace looks far more soaked in Indic values than
Yeah.
any of our own buildings.
Correct. True.
Right. So yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question, but it's a huge project which is working on documenting
Yes.
everything that is associated with Ramayana or Ayodhya.
Huh. Uh, my question gave me more information than I expected. I was not aware of this project, and especially
Ji.
your work on Skanda Puran. So that's really fascinating and exciting. So I look forward to getting the copy of it and more about it. I think UP government is also working on Kashi and surrounding places, the temples and other archaeological monuments.
Yes, they are, I think, trying to find old temples
Mm,
around Kashi Vishwanath
mm,
temple.
mm.
But I visited Kashi about 2 years back.
Yeah,
So they had just started that work. So I
right.
don't know how it is
Yes,
progressing in the middle
yes,
of
yes, yes,
pandemic.
yes. It's a heritage place. It's our Shraddha Sthan.
It's our Marmasthan.
Exactly.
It is the heart and soul of India. I mean, heritage is a very, very light word to
Light
use
word.
for it.
It is our Shraddha Sthan. And
It, I mean,
yes,
everybody wants to go to Kashi. People
yes,
want to go die
yes,
there.
yes, yes,
It's
yes.
a place of Shiva sitting
Ah,
on
yeah.
his Trishul.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
know, so it's
I,
uh, in fact, somebody defined that if triangle of India, if
huh,
there is Sharada Devi in Kashmir, Kamakhya in Assam, and Kanyakumari, Niche,
South
the center is Kashi, heart is
Kashi.
Kashi.
Huh.
अ, लेकिन अगर आप जाएंगे तो काशी में 3 बड़े शिव मंदिर थे,
Mm-hmm.
ओंकारेश्वर,
Mm,
विश्वेश्वर
mm,
और केदारेश्वर.
mm, mm,
ये 3 मंदिर थे.
mm,
केदारेश्वर अभी भी है,
mm,
विश्वेश्वर दिखता है.
mm.
ओंकारेश्वर ढूंढने के लिए मैंने 1 हफ्ता वहां स्पेंड किया था और वो मुझे मिला. मैं कभी फोटो डालूंगी उसकी. वो इनफैक्ट मेरे इंस्टाग्राम हैंडल पे उसकी फोटो है.
Okay.
छोटा सा मंदिर है लेकिन है.
है.
लेकिन अगर आप शास्त्रों के अकॉर्डिंग जाएंगे तो वो
जी.
सबसे बड़ा, वो एक प्राइमरी टेम्पल है
हुआ
काशी
करता
का.
था. हाँ, जी,
लेकिन आज
जी,
किसी को पता ही नहीं है.
जी. यस. इसीलिए तो लॉस्ट टेम्पल्स की स्टोरी शुरू हुई. क्योंकि बहुत सारे मंदिर लुप्त हो गए. The the way you are visiting and you are exploring temples, is it only archaeological motive or from the Adhyatmic version also?
So, you need to read my book Lotus in the Stone,
Uh-huh.
जहां पर मैंने अपनी जर्नी बताई है फ्रॉम बीइंग अ क्यूरियस टूरिस्ट
हाँ.
टू बीइंग अ पिलग्रिम.
हाँ.
सो वो एक मेरी पर्सनल जर्नी है और
जी.
मैंने टेम्पल्स को चूज नहीं किया. आई वुड से टेम्पल्स हैव चोजन.
Chosen you. Okay.
मैं तो एक ट्रैवलर की तरह जाती हूँ, लेकिन कहीं करते 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 जर्नी में फोकस पूरा टेम्पल्स पे आ गया. और ऐसे ऐसे अनुभव हुए कि अब मंदिर जो है वो पहले I mean, there was a phase when I used to look at only archaeological details, temples, sculptures, beautiful. Now, of course, if the temple is beautiful, you still admire it.
Yes, yes.
But now, what matters to me is the energy of the temple.
Yes, yes.
So it's please read Lotus in the Stone. There you'll find my personal journey, and a lot of people. What is more interesting than my personal journey is that people who are reading it are finding a resonance of their own journey in that.
That's what I wanted to ask you. That key one example, one experience. Not that I'm expecting you to say everything, but what kind of transformation have you seen in your personality after visiting temples?
So it's not one temple
No,
that does
definitely,
something to you.
definitely.
There are multiple experiences and different experiences, and slowly they become a part of you. So I have written about 3 or 4 such experiences in my book. I where I have literally cried. So this is at Ram Janmasthan at Ayodhya. It was at Kandariya Mahadev temple in Khajuraho. It was at Brihadeshwar temple in Tanjore. So lot of those experiences are there where there is something that changes every time, and then when you reach a certain level, then you know that you're not no longer looking at temple just as a building,
No.
and you start connecting with the deities. So that's a very slow process. It happens very slowly.
Yes.
It happens at different pace with everybody. Maybe with some
Yes.
people it'll happen
Yes.
faster,
Yes.
but
Yes.
with me it has taken a lot of time.
Yes.
And it has happened organically. Nobody asked me to go to temples.
Mm.
Nobody told me to visit temples, but I reached a point where when I see a place, I see temples. I mean, the temples just appear before me.
Nice. You rightly said it because it's a gradual travel to divinity. It won't happen overnight. It won't happen at one temple. And
Right.
when will it happen? That also you do not know. And it becomes completely out of this world
It's a
experience.
journey. It's a journey.
इट्स अ जर्नी, इट्स अ जर्नी, एब्सोल्युटली इट्स अ जर्नी। अच्छा, एक यूनिक टेम्पल है हमारे देश में जो शायद बहुत लोगों को नहीं पता है, दैट
Mhm.
इज ज्यू मम्मी। अम,
हाँ।
जो कुछ अलग ही है एंड
Not a temple actually. अभी
इट्स नॉट अ
उन्होंने
टेम्पल।
मंदिर बना हुआ
हाँ।
है.
हाँ।
So I think while doing some road work, they discovered a mummy of a lama. It's a Buddhist lama,
यस यस।
and he's sitting in a meditation pose.
राइट।
He's literally sitting in cross-leg meditation
राइट।
pose,
राइट।
and it's a mummy.
यस।
So they discovered it few years back while digging up roads, or while digging for making roads, and then they put it in a place, in a glass box or something. When I saw it, they were building a temple, or they were planning to build a temple, but I've lately seen pictures where
Yeah.
they have built a temple around it. So it's about 500 600 year old. It's not very old. It's
Okay.
about 500 600
Yeah.
year old,
Yeah.
but which meant that people knew uh, how to uh, how to mummify themselves
Yeah.
while taking samadhi. So
Mm-hmm.
it probably belongs to a sadhu who's taken
Yeah.
samadhi.
Yes, yes. And because it's sitting in the meditative pose, and you can see
Yes,
it visible. True, true.
yes, yes.
That's right. You can choose not to answer this question, but I will still ask it. Uh, how does the funding come? How do you? I mean, if I want to travel, I have to think a
Okay,
lot.
no, this is the most commonly asked question for me.
Yeah.
So I worked in IT industry for a long time
Okay.
and built my financial base.
All right.
I don't have liabilities in life. I'm a zero liability person. I'm a very, I have minimal needs. So I don't, when I speak in colleges, young children always have this question. So I tell them, I have 3 pairs of shoes and I always have something to wear. You will see me wearing the same clothes that I wore 20 years back. So I have my minimal needs. So when you look at a 4,000 rupee shoes, I look at 2 days of travel, or 1 day of travel. That's it. And second, now of course, In Details is a commercial blog, and we do make some money out of it. Not too much, because we refuse to work with anything that we don't want to promote. And
Yes.
unfortunately, the money comes from those quarters only,
Yes. Yes.
casinos and
Yeah.
liquor brands and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
So, but we don't do so. We don't make tons of money.
Yeah.
We do make some money,
Yeah.
which gives us sustenance. And lately, very lately, in last 3 4 5 years, we have worked with a lot of tourism boards and hospitality brands where our travel gets taken care of.
Yeah.
But that has a long journey. And it's few and far in between. So we do. A lot of my travels have been sponsored by tourism boards to cover destinations.
I see.
A lot of them have been personal travels, uh, but it also comes from the fact that my lifestyle is kind of minimalist.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, and this is a good message to people. What's their priority, and depending on that, they need to plan it accordingly. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, that's all I had, Anuradhaji. Anything that you
Any
want to say
questions?
as a
No, whatever
last?
you ask. Today is your day.
Okay. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद for your time and for your insight, information sharing. Lot many things to talk, lot many things to know, but we have a very limited time, so I could not explore more. But that's all. Thank you so much for sharing so much of information.
Thank you so much for having me. Dhanyavad.
धन्यवाद.